lectures. And before we get started this evening, I want to take a moment to thank all of my supporters and everyone for supporting my YouTube channel. So with that being said, let's get on to today's lecture, which is the power of having a W-2 job. The power of having a W-2 job. You know, I've lectured on this topic before. You know, my spirit guided me to revisit this lecture. You know, although I fully retired September of 2023, next month I made 2 full years that I've been fully retired from state government. I'm also a retired military, so you know, I get a couple of pensions, not even counting Social Security, but I get a couple of pensions for the rest of my life. And when I get old enough, I get Social Security, so that'll just more money coming in. But I'm gonna tell you something, and you know, prior to me retiring, you know, the last 25 years of working in the workforce, simultaneously I had my company, Patterson Associates Resource Center. I still got my company. I maintain my credentials as a licensed clinical expert. I continue to make money utilizing my credential under my company in my home office. But irregardless of that, you know, I retired from the state of North Carolina, and you know, which was a W-2 job, and one of the most powerful benefits rule, you know, is you got a lot of people who are doing gig work, contract work. You know, even as a YouTube content creator, you know, we get a 1099 at the end of the year to reflect our revenue. So we're considered an independent contract. Any kind of work you do where you are getting a 1099 gig work, you know, that is not the same as having a full-time W-2 people, where you are, you know, where you have benefits, retirement, some cases stock options, medical, dental, and all of that. You know, I'm gonna use myself as an example. You know, by me being fully retired from the state of North Carolina, being fully retired from the military, get a pension from the military. So what that does, because I've worked 41 years of my adult life, people, and prior to my retirement in September of 2023, it's a powerful thing. Rather, I want to use my, because with my pension from the state of North Carolina comes with medical and dental and all of that for the rest of my life. It's a state of North Carolina has a powerful retirement plan. So it's a powerful thing by working W-2 and retiring from W-2 jobs. Any kind of medical needs I need in this world, I have a couple of options. Rather, it's major medical or dental or prescription. All I do is present my medical card for my retirement under the state of North Carolina. And rather, it's any kind of medical, emergency, hospitalization, surgery, dental, anything. I do not see a bill, bottom line. And that's one of the most powerful benefits of having a W-2 job. You're building into your retirement. When you retire from that job, you typically, if it's a really good job, it's going to come not just with your pension, it's going to come with medical benefits for the rest of your life. And that's power. You don't get that when you're doing gig work. You don't get that when you are doing contract work as a 1099. All you do is get the money that you make for providing that service. Bottom line. Even if your channel is monetized, and I don't care how much money you make if your channel is monetized, you're considered a 1099, because my channel has been monetized going on 3 years. Whatever money I make from YouTube, when YouTube will send me my 1099 at the end of the year to reflect my revenue that I made. But that does not include retirement. YouTube ain't got no retirement and giving you medical and dental. No, that's on you. But because I'm covered on my state retirement plan, I ain't got to worry about that. So that's a powerful benefit of having a W-2 job. By me being retired military and I get a pension from the military, this is also my powerful military card where it covers all of my medical benefits for the rest of my life. I will not see a bill. So I say that to say, because I retired state government, retired military, both were W-2 jobs. With that retirement also comes a package deal with my medical and my dental and my vision. To be honest with you, rural, I ain't seen a medical bill in over 30 years because I've always had double coverage. I don't even know what a dental bill looked like. I don't even know what a medical bill looked like. I don't even know what it looked like if you know, even if you have some insurance companies, even if you got good insurance and you got to get a prescription filled, you pay a proportion of that prescription. I don't even see that. Real talk, people. And I say that to say, so the world can hear there is power when you put your time in work a W-2 job and you retire from the workforce with those benefits, versus if you're out there door dashing or Uber Eats or gig work, or you're doing YouTube as a content creator, that's considered an independent contractor. With that does not come 401. With that does not come stock options. With that does not come medical for the rest of your life. This is my military medical. This is my state of North Carolina medical. I would never see a medical bill as long as I live, people. You know, or pharmacy or none of that. But if you're out there doing all this gig work or door dashing, or you're a content creator or working contract works or 1099s, whatever money you make, that's what you make. If you do not work, you do not get paid. Real talk. Rather, I want to ever leave my house again, my couple of retirement checks will hit me for the rest of my life, people. Rather you two want to pay me or not, my retirement income will hit me for the rest of my life. So whatever money I make or don't make as a content creator, I don't base my livelihood off YouTube income, because that's considered an independent contractor. That money can fluctuate. However, my primary source of income, there you go. You know, gig work, YouTube content creator, anything where you're getting a 1099, you know, that type of income really should be, if you don't want to create financial destruction, really should be a secondary source of income. You know, in your W-2 job, where you're building your retirement and you got your medical and your dental, if you got minor kids, you have to put your minor kids on your medical policy through your W-2 full-time job. That should be your primary. Because if you're basing your livelihood off gig work, the gig work can be slow. If your channel's monetized, YouTube can shut you down, so your money gone. Or even if you're out there doing DoorDash or Uber Eats, if you do not work, if you do not produce, you do not get paid. At this stage of my career, whether I want to produce or not, that ain't stopping all of my revenue from my primary pension hitting my account for the rest of my life. And when I get old enough to get Social Security, because I retired at the age of 59, so when I get old enough to get Social Security, and I'm going to sign up for it at 62 and get my money, that'll be check number 3 for the rest of my life. So whatever money I make or don't make as a content creator, because like I said, my channels monetize, I'm considered an independent contractor. You know, I'm going to give you a good example. You know, YouTube can shut me down right now. Fine. That doesn't stop my revenue in my company that I make utilizing my credentials as an addiction expert. The last 25 years of my working history, simultaneously, I had my company. I still got my company, generating money under my company, utilizing my credentials. My retirement checks to hit me. YouTube ain't got nothing to do with none of those sources of income. That's what I'm trying to say. YouTube has nothing to do with my retirement checks hitting me for the rest of my life. YouTube has nothing to do with the revenue that I generate under my company that's 25 years old, utilizing my credentials. I can make as much or as little money as I make utilizing my credentials under my company. I typically see my clients 2 days out the week, because they ain't trying to work like that. But that's a powerful thing, knowing that I can literally, in retirement, people, make as much money or as little money under my company, Patterson Associates Resource Center, based off my credential. YouTube has nothing to do with that. YouTube is like independent gig work, and then whatever money I make or don't make as a content creator, I just reinvest that money. So I say that to say that it's power. And I'm going to say this loud and clear. It is power having a full-time W-2 job, because I know many people who are in their 20s, in their 30s, even older. Their primary is gig work. That's all they do. A medical emergency come up, like a dental emergency. Yeah, you can go to the dentist, but then what I hear a lot of people who I know who in the real world who do gig work, they ain't got no doggone insurance, because gig work ain't gonna pay for your medical and your dental. They're not gonna pay into no 401. So if you out there doing gig work and you're making good money, you're out there hustling, bustling, but if you want insurance, if you want medical insurance, dental insurance, life insurance coverage for you and your amount of kids, that's all on you. If you were linked with an employer, that employer will pay a big percentage of that, and you're going to get a huge discount because you're working full time for that company. So when you're looking at purchasing all of your own insurance, medical insurance, dental insurance, life insurance for yourself and your amount of kids, you're talking about astronomical money coming out of your pocket on a daily basis to be able to maintain those policies. And because you're out there doing gig work and 1099 work, if you don't go to work, you don't get paid, versus when you're working a full-time W-2 job, you're earning a vacation time, you're earning PTO time, so when you're earning sick time, so when you're out sick, you still get paid. When you're taking vacation, you're still getting paid. That's what they call that benefit package in addition to your salary. And those are the type of perks throughout my 41 years of working in the workforce prior to me retiring. Those are the type of perks I had as a state employee as when I was in the United States Marine Corps, that entire benefit package throughout my journey. And the benefit package still follow me in retirement with all of the medical benefits, the dental insurance, the vision insurance. Like, all I do is present my various of insurance card, whether it's my insurance cards from the state of North Carolina, health insurance, or my health insurance card from the military. Either one will cover all of my medical bills, whether I'm inpatient, outpatient, dental, vision, everything. At the end of the day, when I go to the doctor world, I do not see a bill. When I go through the military, I don't see a bill. There's no copay. I pay nothing. You ain't gonna get that if you out there working and get work. You paying for some medical insurance and dental insurance and life insurance and all of that. And so that's the most power. And most importantly, when you're working a W-2 job, a full-time W-2 job, you're building into your retirement, people. You're building into your 401. You're building into your financial portfolio. That's power. And that money hitting your account every month for the rest of your life. But if you ain't holding down a W-2 job long enough to get vested, to get in a retirement when you get ready to retire, then there's going to be nothing there. You just out there just doing all this gig work and contract work, and you ain't set up your own 401. Yeah, you can set your own 401 up. It would be smart to do that. But when you got a 401 in retirement through your employer, they're matching that. And that's a powerful thing. You ain't gonna get none of that if you're out there doing gig work or 1099. You can sign up for your own 401 through a financial advisor, but you are the only one contributing to your financial future. And this is what a lot of people are gonna find themselves in a lot of trouble. Because if you out there, I don't care if you're in your 20s, and now you look up, you're 25. Now you look up, you're 30. 10 years, a whole decade on going by. You just out there doing gig work and 1099, and if you ain't set up no 401, you ain't gonna have a pot to piss in when you get ready to retire. there's going to be no pension hitting you for the rest of your life. If you out there doing gig work or 1099, and if you ain't setting it up to pay your own federal taxes and state taxes and pay into your own Social Security, that's your responsibility to do all that. So when you get Social Security age, you ain't don't even have no Social Security. Social Security should be, from my perspective, a supplement to your pensions and retirements and all that. So the more streams of income that you have coming in retirement, that's going to give you the power to choose, to travel the world debt-free and all that kind of stuff. So, and that's a powerful benefit of having a W-2 job. And most importantly, you're building your sick time, your vacation time. When you're out sick, you're still getting paid. When you're going on vacation, you're still getting paid. But versus when you are 1099 and contract work, if you don't get your behind up and go to work, I don't care if you're DoorDashing, Uber Eats, you're a content creator, monetize, or you're doing consultant work or any kind of consultant work, 1099 or whatever. If you are not investing into your own retirement and your medical and your dental and all of that, and paying into your federal tax, state tax, and paying into your own Social Security as an independent contractor or gig work, you are going to create financial destruction. I know so many people who are out there making all this money, but they purchase their own insurance, medical insurance, life insurance, dental insurance. So they're out there doing this contract work and gig work. A dental emergency come up, they ain't got no dental insurance, but they got to deal with that dental emergency. So they slap with a dental bill of $15,000 or $20,000, and you in your 20s slap with this dental bill because you ain't had no dental insurance because you're out there doing all that gig work in 1099 work. And yes, for non-payment of medical bills now, they can report that to the credit bureau, and that will have a negative impact on your credit score. I've talked to so many people in their 20s, 30s with no medical insurance, no life insurance, but yet they're making all this gig money. You got a lot of these content creators whose channel is monetized, and for the ones who putting all their business out there, telling the whole world, I made $10,000 this month or $20,000 this month as a YouTube content creator. And I'm listening to these people, and they're flashing the money and screenshotting all of this money they're making month after month and showcasing their highlight reels. But I never hear any of them who is allegedly making all this money on social media. I never hear any of them say, with all of this money that they're making, that they are working very close with a financial advisor to set up their retirement, their 401. I never hear them talking about how they're aligning themselves with a financial advisor to make sure they pay their federal and state tax. I don't hear them talking about that. I never hear them talking about how they making sure that they got their own purchasing their own life insurance and medical insurance and dental insurance for themselves and their family and kids. I don't hear them talking about that. See, that's the business side. Because if they're allegedly making all this money, if they're not having all that set up, the first dental emergency that occur or medical emergency that occur, and they're not able to work as a content creator, and if they ain't got no insurance to cover that medical bill, it can create financial destruction. I had a hospital stay in 2024, I believe. Yeah, it was 2024. And like I said, I have the best insurance in the world. And even if you have the best insurance in the world, now what they do is, even though if the bill is paid, the hospital will send you a statement summary of that bill being paid, a breakdown of that bill, and it'll show what the insurance paid. I was in the hospital for 1 day in 2024, 1 day of services. And when all that was done, they released me after 24 hours of being in the hospital for 1 day in 2024. And probably about a few months later, they sent me like a breakdown analysis of that bill. And, a lot of times when they send you that summary, it'll say on that summary, this is not a bill. We just want to show you what the insurance company paid. It'll say on top, this is not a bill. And it was kind of interesting to look at that, because like I said, I got top-notch insurance for life. So it had a summary of all of the services that I received. It was top-notch service, and then it had a breakdown. And then I was in hospital for like 1 day, and the totality of that bill for 1 day was $123,000. And then it had at the bottom, the insurance paid $123,000. Basically, they paid the full damn bill. And at your part, the patient balance is zero. Zero. My portion was zero. I don't even remember paying a copay. All I know is my insurance is so good, my portion, zero. So imagine for a moment, if you out there only doing gig work, you ain't worked no W-2 jobs, nowhere for nobody, you ain't got no medical insurance through your employer that would cover a major hospital stay or medical, anything like that, but you making all this money from gig work, but you had no insurance, and you needed those medical services, and that bill would have been $23,000. Just imagine that for a moment. And if you would not have had any insurance, the hospital will still treat you, but that bill would have been the patient balance. If it would have been you and you ain't had no insurance, that patient balance of $123,000 for being in the hospital for 1 day, guess who would have to have paid that balance? You would have, if you would not have had any insurance, versus having the best insurance in the world from the state government and the military. That bill was paid in its totality, and Marie Holiday proportion was zero. And that's a powerful example, rule of the power of having a W-2 job, the power of retiring from a W-2 job. I would get, by the time it's all said and done, I would get 3 retirement pensions for the remainder of my life, with full medical benefits for the remainder of my life. And that's a powerful benefit of linking yourself with a W-2 job so you can begin to start building your future, building your retirement, and with that package that comes along with it. And when I say that package, that includes your medical, your dental, your retirement, 401, your amount of kids can go on your policy. Because it's not, if you have a family and you have kids, at a certain point in your life, it's not all about just you. You got to also ensure the well-being of your amount of children. And I can clearly remember all throughout my working history, having my daughter when she was a minor on my insurance policies. And when she joined the military, she's been in the military now pushing 10 years. There was at that time, when she joined the military, there was no need for me to carry her under my state policy plan. Because in the military, because I'm a veteran, you have one of the best insurance in the rural people. And even with my military insurance, this is power. But you got to pay your dues. You got to work in the workforce. You got to you got to put your time in, because all of that ties into financial freedom, real talk. So again, share this information. Somebody really might need to hear this, because, it's become so popularized where you got a lot of people on these social media platforms, glorifying gig work, glorifying 1099 work, to even include being a content creator and promoting this hype, telling people to quit their full-time job. Really? I wouldn't tell nobody to quit a full-time job that comes with benefits. That's your bread and butter. That should be your primary, especially if you got minor children that you are carrying on your policy. You got to ensure their well-being. Just like I carried my daughter on my policy from birth to all the way until she went into the military. That was my responsibility as a mother, to ensure my child had adequate medical insurance, dental insurance, life insurance, all the way she started her career. Real talk, people. So, these people out here on these platforms, with this popularizing, quit your W-2 job and do contract work or gig work and the freedom you have. Okay, but you better be prepared to look at the business side also. So again, that's all I have. Simplify, simple fidelis, and I'm going to leave you of your own contents. Have a great day.